I woke up that morning to the sound of my own scream. My face burned like fire, and when I touched it, my fingers felt something soft, like wet bread. I jumped from the bed and ran to the mirror. What I saw almost made me faint. My face was covered with holes. Small, round, deep holes. They were everywhere on my cheeks, around my mouth, even on my forehead. Some looked fresh, like open wounds. Others were dry and dark, like the surface of honeycomb. I stared at my reflection, my hands shaking. The man in the mirror didn't look like me, didn't look human at all. I was a monster made of flesh and holes. When I moved closer, I could see tiny things crawling inside some holes. I screamed again and stumbled backward, knocking down my expensive perfume bottles. They shattered on a marble floor, filling the room with a sweet, choking smell. I rushed into the bathroom and poured cold water on my face, but the holes didn't go away. They only widened, spreading down to my neck and hands. My skin felt like it was breathing, like each hole was sucking in air on its own. I grabbed my phone and called my doctor, but before he could say a word, I ended the call. What could he possibly do? I was beyond medicine. For years, people called me the King of Lagos. My name was Peter Park, the youngest billionaire in the city, owner of real estate empires, oil companies, and nightclubs. My name was printed on buildings, newspapers, and luxury cars. I had everything a man could ever want: money, fame, power. But now all I had was fear. The holes had started small. It began as a rash on my hands 2 weeks ago, tiny spots that I thought were mosquito bites. I didn't care. I had a business meeting in Dubai that week. When I came back, the spots had deepened, turning into pits. My skin looked eaten. I hid them with gloves, told my driver to buy me the best skin cream in town. But nothing worked. The more I touched them, the worse they got. Now, standing in front of the mirror, I remembered the face of the woman I had destroyed, the one who had warned me before she died. Her name was Ifeoma. She was a young businesswoman who once worked with me. I had taken her idea and used it for my own company, cutting her off completely. When she confronted me, I used my lawyers and money to silence her. She lost everything. The last time I saw her, she stood at the entrance of my office building, rain falling on her face. She said, "Peter, the day your hands start to rot, you'll remember every soul you crushed." That day had come. I tried to wipe the thought from my mind, but the mirror forced me to face the truth. My hands were worse than my face now. Each finger was full of holes. When I moved them, the skin stretched and tore a little, like wet paper. I could see the pink flesh beneath. The pain was unbearable. I pressed a towel to my hands, but blood seeped through the fabric. My phone started ringing again. It was my assistant, Bode. I didn't answer. He had been calling me all week because I had missed 3 meetings. I couldn't let anyone see me like this. I had locked myself in my penthouse for days. Even my chef left food outside my door. The curtains were closed, the room dark and quiet, except for the sound of dripping water from the bathroom sink and my own shallow breathing. I walked to the window and pulled the curtain aside. Down below, the city buzzed with life. Cars honked, people shouted, lights blinked in the evening fog. Lagos was alive, while I was dying from the inside out. I had ruled this city like a god, but now I was nothing but a broken man hiding behind glass. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at my trembling hands. I thought about all the people I had cheated, all the workers I had fired without mercy, all the families I had ruined with my greed. Every face came back to me like ghosts in the dark. They whispered my name, Peter, Peter, in voices that sounded like wind moving through holes. That's when I heard it, a soft humming sound coming from my palms. I looked down and saw movement inside one of the holes. Something was pushing out from within. My breath caught in my throat. Slowly, a tiny white worm crawled out, wriggling its way up my arm. I screamed and hit my hand against the wall, but more came out. They slithered across my skin, disappearing into other holes like they were a home. I fell to the floor, shaking. My chest hurt. My heart pounded so hard that I thought it would burst. I tried to pray, but no words came out. Maybe this was my punishment. Maybe Ifeoma's curse had found me. The phone rang again. This time, I picked it up with trembling fingers. It was Bode's voice, cheerful and unaware. "Sir, the press is asking about you. Are you okay? People are worried." I laughed. It was a dry, ugly sound. "Tell them," I said slowly, "that Peter Park is no longer the man they knew." Then I ended the call and dropped the phone on the floor. When I looked at the mirror one last time, the holes had spread across my face completely. My eyes were red, and my lips had started to crack. I looked like something that had been dug out from the ground. I wanted to scream, but all that came out was a whisper. "I'm sorry." But even I knew it was too late. I used to believe that money could buy anything. Peace, love, loyalty, even forgiveness. I thought all I needed was more buildings, more land, more power. And I got it. But I never realized that one day, I'd pay for every single thing I took. My story began 12 years ago. In Suralire, I was just a young man with dreams too big for my pocket. I worked at a small construction company as a clerk, earning barely enough to eat. But I was hungry, not for food, but for success. I watched rich men drive past in black Jeeps, their faces cold and confident, and I told myself I'd become one of them. One night, while working late, I discovered a secret. My boss had been using company money to buy government land at cheap prices. Instead of reporting it, I copied all his documents and used them to my advantage. I set up my own company using his contacts, bribed a few officials, and within a year, I had my first million. When the scandal broke, my boss was arrested. I became the new face of success. From there, everything grew fast. I bought hotels, clubs, apartments, even politicians. I could destroy anyone with a single phone call. And I did. People feared me more than they respected me. If you crossed Peter Park, your career was over. That was how I met Ifeoma. She was bright, beautiful, and driven. She had an idea for an affordable housing project for low-income families in Lagos. I pretended to be interested. She trusted me. We became close, too close. But when she finally handed me her proposal, I stole it, used my name, my money, and my connections to make it mine. When she found out, she came to my office, tears in her eyes, begging me to give her credit. I laughed in her face. "You don't understand business, Ifeoma." I told her, "This is how the world works. Ideas don't belong to those who dream them. They belong to those who can pay for them." That night, she left, but her words still echo in my mind. "Peter, you've built your empire on people's tears. One day, those tears will drown you." I didn't believe her. Why would I? Life was too sweet. Money kept coming, awards kept flowing, and the city worshipped me. I built a mansion in Banana Island, filled it with imported furniture, marble floors, and gold-plated taps. I threw parties where champagne flowed like water. People called me the miracle man of Lagos. But behind the smiles, I had enemies, dozens. Some were quiet, others disappeared. I had people beaten, framed, and ruined. I told myself it was business. It wasn't personal, but it was evil, plain and simple. The first sign that something was wrong came on a rainy evening 3 weeks ago. I was driving home when I saw a woman standing by the roadside. Her clothes were soaked, her hair dripping. She looked like Ifeoma. I slammed the brakes and stepped out, but when I blinked, She was gone. Only a puddle of muddy water remained. That night, I dreamt her again. She was standing at the end of a dark tunnel, her face full of holes. She reached out and said, "Your sins are eating you, Peter." I woke up sweating, my hands itching. That was the night the first tiny holes appeared. I ignored them at first. I told myself it was stress. I tried everything, creams, injections, even spiritual baths. But nothing worked. The holes spread faster every day, as if something beneath my skin was alive. Every night, I heard whispers when I tried to sleep. Voices called my name softly, like they were right beside my ear. I stopped seeing people. My assistant handled everything through the door. I fired the maids. I closed the curtains. I couldn't bear the light. Every time I looked at my reflection, I saw less of myself and more of something hollow, something empty. My once smooth skin was now full of pits. My beauty, my pride, my image gone. I tried to pray, but my mouth couldn't form the words. I even called a pastor, but when he came, he took one look at me and ran. I didn't blame him. I looked like death itself. 2 nights ago, I dreamed again. I was in my office, but it was empty. The walls were covered in holes, the floor breathing like it was alive. Ifeoma stood by my desk, smiling faintly. "Peter," she said, "you built everything with blood. Now your body remembers." When I woke up, my pillow was soaked with blood. The holes on my face had opened wider. I knew then that I was dying, not just in body, but in soul. My money couldn't save me. My power couldn't help me. The curse wasn't from magic. It was from guilt, the kind of guilt that grows until it eats you whole. This morning, I tried to call Bo to say goodbye, but my hands shook too much. My skin made soft, squelching sound when I moved. I sat by the window and watched the city one last time. Lagos was still alive, full of noise and lights. The people down there didn't know that their king was dying above them. I wanted to shout, to beg for forgiveness. But who would listen? As the sun began to set, I saw her again. Ifeoma. She was standing in the reflection of the glass, dressed in white this time. Her face was whole, calm, beautiful. She smiled and whispered, "It's over now." I felt something warm roll down my cheeks. Maybe it was blood, maybe it was tears. I didn't care anymore. My body felt heavy, my vision blurred. I reached out toward her reflection, my fingers trembling. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "I really am." She nodded once, and then the world went dark. They found me 2 days later. The newspaper said Peter Park, billionaire real estate mogul, had died alone in his penthouse. The police didn't understand what they saw. The report said my body was unrecognizable. Some said it was a rare skin disease. Others whispered it was witchcraft. But the truth was simpler. The holes that ate my face were never sickness. They were punishment. Each one a memory. Each one a wound I had given someone else. And when there were no more people left to hurt, they came for me,